Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing fantastically well on this fantastic day. Hopefully wherever you may be, the weather is treating you as kindly as it is here in Canberra. A lovely day. But whatever the weather, hopefully you're all doing very well and you look forward to this upcoming review. Now I have to apologise, over the last few days I've been a little bit down with my mentality. It hasn't been a very nice sort of few days, but I'm feeling much better today, so hopefully my being back to my normal self will provide something a little bit extra for this review. Now, yeah, before I start, once again, another thing that I have to cover. A few of you have been asking if these taunts towards me are getting to me. No, they're not. Don't worry about it. Yes, you know, I have an appearance like a cartoon character, but if I was conscious and sensitive about my appearance, I wouldn't show myself on screen. So these comments that have been levelled at me for reasons that I'm not going to go into, yes, they're pathetic, but they don't get to me. So don't worry about it. I have the appearance of Mac, I've been told, actually by some friends. So that I like that nickname. If you want to call me Mac, the cartoon character of Foster's Guide to Imaginary Friends, or Foster's Home to Imaginary Friends on the Cartoon Network. Yes, I look like him, so if you want to call me that, you can. But yeah, I just want to tell you that it's water off a duck's back. You know, if I was so worried about my hair, I'd cut it. Yeah, enough of that and get straight onto the review. So this movie is a French production. I'm going to put it in my French horror collection, although it's spoken entirely in English. It has a French director, French cinematographer, or French-Canadian cinematographer. So it's a little bit more French-Canadian than French, but yeah, for that reason, I'm just going to put it in there. But it's spoken entirely in English, so don't have to worry if you don't like subs. It's a 2010 release, directed by Olivier Abou, and this movie is called Territories. And the story is as follows. Five friends driving home from a wedding are stopped by the border police. The suspicious officers check their IDs and their questioning slowly intensifies, but they've done nothing wrong, except for the broken headlight and the pot found in the car. As the situation turns nasty, spiraling completely out of control, the group is formally arrested and sent to a special prison camp in the heart of the forest, unaware of their fate. So the film starts off with five friends. They're returning home to the United States from Canada from a wedding, and they are stopped by the border police. Now, the border police are questioning them, saying if they've got anything to declare. Things are slowly getting out of hand, and this is where the border police find some pot in their car. So they see this as an insult, so they tell all the friends to get out of the car, and then things start getting even more out of hand. One of the border police officers accuses them of being terrorists because the driver of the car was of Arabic descent. So before they know it, one of them is shot dead, and there's a little bit of a scuffle, and the rest of the friends are blindfolded, have bags put over their heads and put into orange jumpsuits, and they're led deep into the secluded area of a forest, and this is where they come to a prison camp. And so they're locked in cages and they have no idea what they've done wrong. And it turns out that these border police are psychotic, patriotic Americans. And so what happens next, I'm going to leave that up to you to find out for yourself. It's a very simple sort of story, so the less I say, the better. So if that synopsis kind of interests you, then I would highly recommend you track down a copy. This is in English language, so I am assuming that it's going to be released in most English-speaking countries. This is going to be released in Australia very, very soon, but this is the UK release. Not sure if it has an American release. Considering the feedback that this movie got from Americans, I don't think it will be released in America. Hope it does. It deserves to be widely released. But anyway, UK released this one, and it is coming out very soon in Australia. So, yeah. Have a go at it if you are interested by it. Now my thoughts on the film. Very, very controversial, especially in America, because the villains are Americans. Now, I kind of think that it's going a little bit too sensitive to say that this is bashing Americans, all Americans. It's a horror film, and these are just two Americans. And two Americans don't share the mentality of the whole country. And what I liked about this film so much is the generalization. It brings out generalizing, and that's something that can be very, very harmful. Now, it happens in everyday life, generalizing. It even happens here on YouTube, and it's been leveled at me. And I'm not going to go into that because I've already talked about that in the past. But yeah, this film does document that. And it documents the paranoia amongst the Western world since 9/11. Now, these group of friends were under suspicion because of the fact that the driver was of Arabic appearance. So this is where they're locked up and they're basically forced to confess that they are terrorists. And I've been told that this is a method that they used in Guantanamo Bay. Now, another reason why this is so controversial, and a lot of people didn't want this film released. I don't know what happens in Guantanamo Bay, so I don't know how true it is to it. But yeah, it is a very, very real film, and it stays away from stereotypes. Just because you're on the American side, it doesn't mean you're a good guy, and because you're Arabic, it doesn't mean you're a bad guy. And unfortunately, a lot of movies paint Arabics as the bad guys, and Americans or Australians or the Western world as good. So this one stays away from it, and this film, you can really tell that it is a foreign film, because I don't think any Americans would have the bravery, not so much bravery, but would have the um, what's the word? I guess you could say bravery. Would have the bravery to release this about their own country. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people will dislike this film because of its theme, but if you can look past that and see it just as a movie, it really is a very unique sort of horror film. It is very, very political, so if that's not your thing, then I wouldn't recommend you go out there and see it. But to me, I just liked it because of the realism. Just the fact that a lot of people in the Western world, whether it be Australia or America, will see an Arabic guy and either racially taunt him for being a terrorist or genuinely have fear that he could be. And that was all generated from the September 11 attacks. So that's why I feel that this film was very, very important. So it paints a very real message, and it's a very, very touchy subject. So it will provoke a response, whether it's in a positive way or a negative way. It still provokes response, and that to me is what a good film is. Now, the acting in the film was great. The prisoners, the young friends, did a very, very good job. They were very real in their reaction to certain events. They started off as happy, and their transition from happy to terrified was real. None of it seemed overacted, and that's what I really liked about it. If you've got a good cast, then you're on your way to a good film. The border police were extremely patriotic. Now, this is a rare sort of case. 99% of the population aren't this patriotic. So they see they're doing their service to the country. But it's their paranoia that's creating an evil sort of demon. Not literally, but the demon psychologically. So it's a very psychological film. What I didn't like about the cover, it says impressive gore scenes. Now that is very misleading, because there's hardly any gore scenes in this at all. Actually, I can't recall one. It is very brutal though. It's a very psychologically damaging film, and it's just downright cruel. And so if you're into gore, you're not going to like this one. But if you like your psychology and your psychological torment, then this one will definitely get to you, because it is quite does have a very strong impact, and it really did deserve its 18 classification, even though it didn't have any gore. Now, a lot of people also criticised this film because they said it was two films in one. When the detective or the private investigator comes into it halfway through, they said it changed direction. I didn't agree with that. In my opinion, I thought that the private detective still had a connection to the story. He was investigating their disappearance, which once again is a very real sort of take on this film. You don't have the prisoners, and then it's kind of like you don't get to see who's looking for them, but there are people looking for them, and that's why I see that this private investigator is connected to the story. And once again, it's going away from stereotypes. Although he's a private investigator and he's on the good guy side, he has still has problems of his own. So it really is a study of individuals, and just because you are on the good side doesn't mean that necessarily you are a good guy. So that's what I liked about it so much. It has a very French flavour. Karim Hussein, who directed Subconscious Cruelty, he did the cinematography, and he really did create the mood very, very well. This guy is very talented. It's a very, very bleak story, and it's a very bleak appearance. So everything about it, the direction, the script, the story, the cinematography, everything to me was excellent, and that's why I think this is an excellent film. But a lot of people, because of the political sort of analysis on the film, are going to dislike this one. But if you want something that's challenging, then I would highly recommend you check out Territories. It's a very, very good one, but just be careful, because it's definitely not for everyone. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.